Hello everyone and welcome to Mountain Lake Journal. I'm Tom Hellick. We are just days away from what is almost certain to be a historic election for our nation. Before you head to the polls on Tuesday, we want to give you the chance to hear from the candidates running in some of the key races here in the North Country. On our website, you'll find several full-length debates and forums among the candidates running for Congress in New York's 21st District, the 115th Assembly District, and for mayor in the city of Plattsburgh. Two challengers are running for the seat that will open with the retirement of longtime North Country Assemblywoman Janet Duprey. Republican Kevin Mulverhill, who is the sheriff in Franklin County, and Democrat Billy Jones, who is the chair of the County Legislature, met for a candidates forum at SUNY Plattsburgh recently, hosted by the League of Women Voters. They were asked about ethics reforms and cleaning up corruption in the New York State Legislature.
Well, the fact is, we've been all over the Assembly District, and people are sick and tired about reading about our leaders in the headlines. New York State has become a laughingstock to the rest of the country regarding the corruption that's been going on. There's a couple of proposals that just haven't made it through yet. One is term limits. I don't believe the lawmakers should stay in office so long that they become so comfortable that they feel they're above the law. So term limits is a step in the right direction. I think reducing the amount of outside income is an important step. The other part that goes with this is when lawmakers or people in public service violate the law, then they should lose their retirement. They shouldn't be allowed to draw a state retirement. If they earn gratuity as a part of their position, then as a penalty, they should lose their retirement. So outside income, I think, is a big part of it. I think it was always meant to be a part-time job. However, if I'm elected in the Assembly, it will be a full-time position for me.
I believe that a lot of the problems in public office and in Albany does stem from outside income. That's why I have vowed, if I am elected to be your Assembly representative, that I will fight for legislation to ban outside income or strictly prohibit it. I, myself, will not have any other job. Being your legislative representative will be my only job. We also need to look at the large amounts of cash that come in to these campaigns. We need to, the so-called dark money, we need to get more transparency on that. We need to really focus on that because our democracy shouldn't be bought by millionaires or billionaires, and we really need to focus on that. Those are two things, and I would propose legislation to ban outside income for lawmakers. If not, we should strictly limit it and be as transparent as possible in that. So I think those two things are a good start.
The two also talked about expanding treatment for heroin addicts and preventing more prison closures in the North Country. Then the two candidates running for mayor in Plattsburgh met for a second forum at SUNY Plattsburgh, hosted by Vision to Action, and talked about their visions for the city's waterfront.
When the announcement for the DRI came public back in early May, I remember that I think it was WPTZ did a survey of their readers and listeners and asked how you would like to see the $10 million spent. And the single biggest, the majority of people said, let's have better access to our waterfront, because after all, we're the lake city. But if you think of when Plattsburgh really developed, in that era, we used the water as our trashway. We turned our back to the water and we looked instead towards the mountain. We need to start turning around, looking at the water as a resource and giving access to it. I was looking at some old maps of Plattsburgh from 100 years ago, and the walk, about 6-block walk from Dock Street to the center city was full of shops. Now it's relatively abandoned. Let's revitalize that corridor so we give a reason for people to go downtown. Down to the water. I talk about a little bit of a triangle. Let's not move city centers from one place to another. Let's create more centers and have them connected. For instance, imagine if we did something with the waterfront that got people access around, for instance, the sewage treatment plant, which we all recognize isn't going to go anywhere very soon, but there are things we can do to contain odors. There's parks that are built above sewage treatment plants. The most popular park in Manhattan is built right over a sewage treatment plant. That could give us access. Then we have a footbridge going to Trinity Park. And we could do something along Dock and Bridge Street going up to the Strand. And then we could even have better access to the old base. So let's think of different spokes rather than one hub. And I think that's what I would do it for.
I'm a big fan of small successes versus large failures. I think the problem with the waterfront at this point was that the plan was too ambitious to be accomplished all at once. And much like the marina, for example. We have plans for 94 slips that we drew up a few years ago, but we only put in 32 because we proved their success. It's time now to expand that up towards that 94 slips because it's been a success. It's paying for itself, therefore it's not a burden on the taxpayers, and yet it's providing a benefit to local businesses. Small successes will get us there. So rather than try to build a hotel, a conference center, and a restaurant, as was conceived a few years ago, let's build one. Let's pick something. Let's maybe make it a conference center or with restaurant capabilities. And if someone wants to use it for a conference center and someone wants to put a restaurant in it or just come in and cater from time to time, that's a small success. You start to build that, suddenly there'll be a demand for perhaps a museum, a lake museum. You know, the Lake Champlain Museum is actually interested in having a presence on this side of the lake. What a great spot for that. That's step number 2. Step number 3 might be a classroom for boaters, for the sailing clubs, a place for people to store their equipment over the winter. And all of a sudden, step 4, step 5, maybe that is a hotel. Maybe that is something else. And that's the way that you build without overburdening your tax base, without taking too big a risk and get yourself into trouble. Build on success.
You'll find both of those forums, the mayoral debate we broadcast in early October on Mountain Lake PBS, as well as the New York 21 congressional debate we hosted last week, all on our website at mountainlake.org. On our Facebook page and website, we have also posted a candidates forum held recently at Clinton Community College that was hosted by students in the P-TECH program based at Peru Central School District. The students researched many issues and came up with questions for the candidates. The P-TECH program's coordinator, Michelle Armani, was also honored that evening with an Excellence in Teaching Award from Governor Andrew Cuomo. It was presented by Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul before the forum.